I see her rolling up over black Cadillac, high heel boots, and a sexy body.
I likes it. I likes it a lot. I'm going to turn these down, though. You know, it's all good. So if we ever wanted to do that. So either way, guys, welcome back to a Now You Made It Awkward podcast episode of some sort. In theory, this is going to be our Ghostbusters Frozen Empire review, but we might mix in a little bit of a regular episode as it goes. You know, we got a little bit of time here after we just went and saw it. So, of course, I am Shoky. You can follow me at all the Shoky-related things down below. And, of course, with me today is my ever-present Jefe.
What's up, brother?
Oh, not much, but I forgot I need to click this thing right here so that it cuts quickly between camera shots instead of fading slowly.
Oh, very good.
Yes. So now it goes boop like that. See? Boop, boop, boop.
Slow
And
fade might
us.
get awkward.
Yes. See, now I have to sit like this so I can look like I'm looking at you. There we go. So, either way, before we get rolling too far into this, of course, guys, you can follow the Patreon as well if you want to help support this channel and others. And they get the uncut video version of the podcast like normal. But given that this is more of a Ghostbusters review thing, I'll figure it out in the future what I want to do. This is going to be coming out in like a week, 2 weeks. I don't even know, technically speaking, when we'll do this. But it will be a spoiler review, which you'll probably have 2 week gap technically. So if you haven't seen it in 2 weeks, that's your fucking fault. So either way, let me play this message from Sean right quick because he sent in a question this morning and I have no idea what it is. And also the episode that dropped this morning, which is episode 84, we did get a bunch of comments from the good old Dormammu. So I'll go through those real quick after Sean's question here. I hope this isn't too loud. I have no idea.
So when you were a kid and it was ass whooping time, were you the kid that was the no, and put the hands behind the back? Or were you the kid to stand there and take it and then suck your bottom lip up through your nostrils? Which one were y'all? I was not neither because I'm awesome and never got my ass whooped.
He's a
Totally
fucking
a
liar.
fucking lie. I don't remember because I was usually unconscious.
Do you want to answer that first?
Well, being raised by a Marine and a lifelong teacher, they did not spare the rod. I got used to the sound of leather belt clearing belt loops. Yep. Scale.
Yep.
And that old man, he wouldn't hit you in the butt. He'd go for the back of the legs.
Oh, that's so much worse.
Yes.
I was definitely the block the weapon type until
When I was
got
younger,
older.
yeah. You started as the block the weapon, and then you sucked it up and...
Well, like the funny thing is, it didn't really ever stop the parent from giving a whooping. Usually, that would just you'd get your fingers smacked, or get your fingers out the fucking way, or whatever. Well, actually, that wasn't never custom.
Or that one time you decided to triple, quadruple up on underwear,
That
and they
never
lay
happened.
one into you, and they go, "Wait, that's different."
I mean, I could probably use some quadrupled up underwear today, but
Did
for
that
a completely
once,
different reason.
and that's when he started going for the back of the knees.
Dude, I mean, I got the calves or the hamstrings.
Yep.
A few times, so I mean, I do completely get where
That
that's
wasn't
coming
often.
from.
It was when I probably earned it. But
Yep, that's true. Okay, so let me go through this.
seeing as both my parents listen to this,
Yeah.
they're great
Hi.
parents. Love you.
Hi, Jeff's parents. I was going to say last name for a second, and then I'm like, wait, never mind. Okay, so
They know who they are.
Yes, so let me read through the multitude of comments from Dormammu from this morning's episode.
Was he drunk?
No, it was like 8 a.m.
Was he drunk?
That's a fair point. That is a fair point. Dormammu, lay off the Robitussin so early in the morning. All right. Did you hear this whole thing about like some poison Robitussin batches? Yeah, there's a recall on Robitussin.
Really?
Apparently.
No, I'm a Mucinex guy, not Robitussin.
Yeah, me either. I didn't know people still were on the Tuss.
On the Tussin.
The
I thought that was
Tuss.
for your Sprite.
Yes. Either way. So I'm thinking these were in the order as he was listening. So he was basically commenting live is really what he was doing. So first one says, still looks like a W, and that's okay. He's talking about the position of the microphones on camera. You didn't watch, so you don't know. All right. Because for those who don't know, the new episodes will give roughly 20 some odd minutes of footage and then go away. So that way you go over to the Patreon. So you can see the full uncut video versions where we have a lot of mistakes and or personal information that we don't share outwardly. Like I did edit some stuff out of that episode for other people's sake.
Right.
For a third party situation. All right, so he says, does it feel weird being in proximity to the other party? Is it a solid ebony and ivory moment? I don't know what he means. I don't know if he means like us sitting this close together. I don't know what he means.
Me either.
I don't know what he actually meant by that. What the hell are you talking about, Rob?
But being in this close of proximity to another large mammal friend, it's not bad.
Did you say mammal?
Large mammal friend, yes.
You already have large mammal friends at the house that are furry.
No, they're small. They're lap dogs.
Well, one of them's pretty large. Speaking of which, have we located the missing parties yet?
Yes, they showed back up last night. We're curled up in a tight ball, freezing on the porch.
Fucking bitches.
For real, don't run off, stupid dogs.
Stupid dogs. All right. He also says, I like this format. No need for the wide cam, which we don't have the wide cam today, so it is what it is.
Fat Cam made us self-conscious.
I mean, I'll still put it up there. The problem is I have to use my phone for it. So, I don't have another camera. So odds are in very near future, I will probably, next good paycheck, I'll probably buy another one.
Let me dig around, see what I can find. I think I have old Galaxy 9 that might still work.
I doubt that will work on this.
Okay.
Yeah, just software reasoning.
True.
It's like, these were cheap enough. I mean, $250, I can't go wrong with that.
Right.
I just have a buttload of fucking Galaxy phones laying around. Either way.
What's he up to?
Yep. Yep. So, let's see here. And he said, this format feels very sleepless in Seattle. I don't know what he means by that. I don't know if it's the cameras going back and forth. I don't know.
Just a lot of...
He makes a lot of references sometimes, and we don't get it. He was like this live, too.
Is he like way older than we are?
No.
Okay.
He's roughly the same age. I think he's like 42, 43.
I'm still the youngin'.
Yeah. Sean's barely older than you.
Barely.
Yeah. I think he just turned 40. All right, so he also says, any song from the Need for Speed Hot Pursuit soundtrack on the PS2, also Ram Jam Black Betty.
Yep.
Those are good. Those would be good.
That one was on Need for Speed.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, I mean, that was for anybody listening weeks out from when we're recording this, that would be a reference to the 5 songs you would play running from the police.
Yep.
We do not endorse this
don't
behavior.
Run, pull over.
Yeah.
Don't be a douche.
No, I mean, unless it's an emergency. But call 911 and let them know you have an emergency, and that's why you're driving like an asshole and running over children. Okay, either way, we just need to use voice messages in the chat so it can be used as voice clips, right? Yes. But I mean, like, so guys, you can, I did mention this in that episode, so the Now You Made It Awkward Facebook does exist, and it can receive messages. So honestly, if you want to send in voice clips or questions like that, I would say do it that way. Mm-hmm. Of course, I'll probably vet those as they come in if they're from untrusted sources. But
even if they're from trusted sources.
No. The one if people I know, then I'll play it on air and edit if I have to.
Oh Lord! All right.
Yep. Okay. And he does say the Power Ranger shells look nice and clean. Well, they did. Yeah, they're still there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they're just gonna stay laying down.
The vanquished stay falling.
Yes. Yes. If he dies, he dies. Okay, hey, my eyes are over here. Shut up. All right, and then he says, sorry. And then he said, I said I was sorry. He was replying to the, when he disappeared in the podcast for like an hour to go do a meeting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then Supernatural is such a good rewatch kind of show.
I'd agree.
So, yes. I mean, after rewatching the first 8 seasons over and over again, I just got bored because I was catching up for the final 2 seasons.
Right.
And then I did watch the finale shortly after it aired.
I will be doing a full rewatch as soon as I catch up with the series I'm working on right now.
Yeah. Which one?
Well, there's NCIS still. I got to get through Peacemaker.
Yeah.
And then Project V.
Generation V.
Okay.
Because every time you say it, I'm like, no, that's not the word, but then I can't think of the word. But you said you did manage some homework.
I got through Ghostbusters 1, 2, and Afterlife.
Okay, so since we're doing the sequel to Afterlife, and I've already reviewed it twice and given a theory video, which made me even angrier today, go ahead and give me your Afterlife review.
Afterlife was good. It started off real slow. It took a while to figure out what was going on and who was who and, just what they were doing. But once things got to rolling, it was a really good flick. Really entertaining. The little podcast kid, the yacky little feller, he took a bit of getting used to. He was real annoying.
Yeah, very, very annoying at the beginning.
You wanted to backhand him, tell him to shut the hell up.
Yep, which is pretty much what everybody was basically doing to him throughout the movie.
Pretty much. But then he kind of came into his own and helped at near the end.
Yes, very much. I mean, he was kind of helpful the whole way, just being a friend of Phoebe.
Right.
And she needed a friend, and he had no friends, and he was the only other like outcast kind of kid.
You know, Phoebe's joke telling always made me laugh.
And these are all highlights. You know, if you go back to listen to either of my reviews, because I did a spoiler and non-spoiler review of that.
Right.
Which, by the way, you can go watch those on the Shoky channel.
But it was just well done. It took a while for me to get around to it after hearing everybody, my family and you and other people saying, hey, it's real good. Fine. I guess I'm watching it later, so I might as well
But, you know,
catch up.
The funny part is that there was people who absolutely hated it.
There are people that absolutely hate anything. Puppies in a basket. Some people will hate that.
That's true. There are puppy haters or puppy killers.
So
according
can't listen to the squeaky wheel, you know?
Maybe not. I think they listened a little, but not that much. So I think the main complaint was like it felt either sometimes it was too serious and sometimes it was way too comedic. But to me, that meant it was balancing it.
That was Ghostbusters anyway. Either they were being complete idiots and cracking up, or they were kind of serious most of the time.
Yeah. And guys, we are recording this on Friday after recording our previous episode, 84. So this is technically 85 with our Ghostbusters review.
Or 84.5, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, we'll call it just the whole fucking episode. It's 85. I'm not, that way I can do it other way. So is it 84 or is it 89? These timelines are so confusing. Either way, so I mentioned Monday when I went off on my rant about Ghostbusters Afterlife and Ghostbusters 2. So did you kind of see what I like? So basically, I pointed out that they really do not reference the second movie at all.
They didn't at all.
Yeah, and you would think that whenever Mr. Gruberson was telling them and showing them YouTube clips, those were all from the first movie, and you would think that if I don't know, the Statue of fucking Liberty was walking through Manhattan, that would have made global news and the whole damn world would remember that happening. And maybe
they referenced that in this movie.
Yes, which is why I am very annoyed at this movie, at this new movie. We'll get to that in a second.
Because they're just picking and choosing what to reference.
No, so I made notes. So Jeff is new to the movie reviewing game, but it's okay.
I
made
chose to
notes.
enjoy my lunch and enjoy the movie as it was.
I managed to do all three. Either way, I took notes, ate lunch, and watched the movie, but it's things I'm used to, so it's fine. It's not like I wrote entire paragraphs. I made notes. You know?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I did make like 3 pages of notes. But
Shocky angry.
Shoky. There's no C.
Come on.
No.
Come on.
No.
Let me have it.
No. Okay, Jeff. His name is Jeff.
Oh, I hate that.
Yes, I know.
I die a little bit on the inside every time.
Every time someone says Shocky. How do you think I feel? Either way, and I did have a very shitty comment earlier on one of my normal videos on the Shoky Reviews channel, and to that person I say, fuck you. Because YouTube would not actually allow me to put that in the comments, so I just deleted your comment. Just no fuck you out there in the world. Either way. Because just fucking shitheads, man.
I'll catch you offline.
Yeah, just fucking shitheads, yeah. Okay, so... Oh, okay. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, then, what would you have rated Afterlife?
I'd rate Afterlife a solid 8. I really enjoyed it.
Okay. Now go back and do the first two. What are you rating them?
The 7
Okay. So
for both of them.
So each one is a 7, but Afterlife is better than the first two then.
It was more watchable, and it was... Those 1 and 2 are dated.
Yeah.
Drastically dated.
Yeah.
The only reason we love them still is because it's something we grew up with, and it's part of our Americana, part of our culture.
That part's true, and I think there is a tiny bit of nostalgia.
There's a lot of nostalgia, a lot of Americana that goes with those movies because it makes up part of who we are as a nation. It's part of our development. Now, as a movie to watch and enjoy, Afterlife was better.
I mean, being a modern movie, I would hope so. I mean,
but I did enjoy the score in Afterlife, where it was very similar to the score in the first and second movies.
Yeah, I mean, it would do. I mean, they basically just used the same music or musical cues.
Yeah,
there's like the early on in Afterlife. There's like that weird like sound that they pull from the opening of Ghostbusters 1 in the library and everything else like that.
And the whole scene underneath the farm where she actually first meets the ghost of her grandfather.
Yeah.
And that iconic Ghostbusters theme was not the theme itself, but some of the background music was playing at the same time.
Well, I made a comment about that whenever the credits finished up on this movie, and they showed the credits of the music, and like basically it was 5 main songs and a couple inserts at the bottom, which are like background playing things. So it's like, yeah, basically, because of course this is Jason Reitman, Ivan Reitman's son. I almost said daughter. Wow. Because I'm thinking about Phoebe in my head right now. I'm thinking his daughter. No, wait. So the funny thing is that Afterlife and Frozen Empire are both like hand-me-downs from the older generation to the younger generation, just like from father to son taking over the Ghostbusters franchise.
Yes.
And I think that's a great thing. However, Jason, for the love of God, get your canon in line. He clearly and I'll go into it in a bit. But for now,
Shoki has things to say.
I do.
So hang on to your butts.
Not that many, not that much. Hopefully not that much, because I got to get to dinner here in an hour or two. So either way, overall, like just going into this movie, I tried to go in with almost no expectations. I was like, okay, saw the trailers. Saw a couple of the tested videos, behind the scenes kind of stuff, but no spoiler stuff other than like the new proton packs, which are vaguely different. Get yours today at Hasbro.
Yeah, it's dark blue.
Well, they did make them. They're just black. They are black like the old ones, but
They
they're
look
shiny.
dark blue. Yeah.
Well, they're new.
Yeah.
So they're shinier, but they added the yellow bits, some of the safety stripey stuff, and then if you watch the video on Tested, Adam goes over the differences. But actually, something I forgot to write down as a good, and I'll mention it now, was early on in the movie, they're talking about the history of Ghostbusters, and they showed commercials from our childhood and used it in world as though they actually had Ghostbusters memorabilia and toys and stuff like that. And I thought that was cool that they actually did that. And then it also made me angry again, because then it makes Afterlife still make no sense of why nobody knows who the Ghostbusters are. It's fucking stupid. And I'm always going to be mad about that.
You'll get over it.
Actually, it still would sort of make sense if it was only going from Ghostbusters 1. Except for the fact the toys were coming from the cartoon, not real life.
Right.
So either way, it was fun that they did that. And I forgot to write it in my notes. That's good. Because by then we were like, that was so early on in the movie. After that, I was just like, holy shit. And dude, I don't know how long this movie was. I think a Google could probably
Wasn't terribly long.
No, but they got so much done.
They were hustling.
I mean, like there was no real major lulls.
I mean, they start a whole family in on it with a hunt just immediately into the movie.
Yeah, so immediately getting into the movie, you start out with the Ecto-1 tearing ass out of the thing. Everybody loads up. Everybody's in there. And literally the Spanglers and Grubersons, however you want to slice that pie.
Their step teacher.
Yeah, their step teacher. That shit was funny.
See, my stepkids always called me their faux father.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That made us laugh.
That is funny. And I think like the opening battle, as it were, like one, they wasted no time getting into it. Oh, there was a flashback at the beginning.
Sewer dragon.
I mean, it did start. Yeah, a sewer dragon that looked like one of those really big ass like fish.
Yeah,
like those giant river fish.
Oh, like oarfish.
Yeah, it would look
like a big arapaima.
Yes, both like those things with a dragon head.
Yeah.
So, and it's one of those weird ones, so they don't deal with flying things.
Wouldn't that have been a worm then?
I have no idea.
WIVREM.
No, because I think those have
no
wings.
legs.
Yeah, but those have wings. This just flies.
True.
Yeah, it's a ghost. God knows what it's a ghost of.
Right.
So, this is the weird thing that Ghostbusters never covers.
What it is or why it is.
Yeah, what or why. Like, we know that there are weird ancient spirits.
I want to know more about that cute little thing that shoots the friggin' snot.
I don't. It's terrifying. So, basically the head with arms almost is really what it was.
Kirby.
Yeah. I think it probably has a name somewhere in the merch. But either way, like it opens on a flashback to 1904, if I remember correctly, which I think may or may not have been on the wall in Afterlife as a year of bad things happening. But I like that it's the same fucking fire station, still ladder 8 or Ladder 8 or Ladder 9? I think.
I'm still gonna have to go back and watch it again.
Yeah, we're gonna have to watch it again either way. So it starts out there, and literally firefighters on an old original fire truck come flying out of there.
Yes.
And then they go and they're sent on a call, which is a weird thing to have called for because there was no fire where they were going.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I take it back. There might have been fire.
But there was the opposite of fire.
No, there may have. Oh, the camera just shut off.
Uh-oh.
I don't know what happened there. It went to sleep. Normally it wouldn't. Either way, what are you looking at?
I don't know.
You're just staring off into space?
Yeah, Chitara.
Okay. I mean, it's a good thing to look at.
Yep.
I ought to show you the new Chitara in the comics. Either way. Now my settings fucking shifted. That's annoying. That's fine. Am I even on the right camera? Yes, I am. There we go. Okay. Hold on. I gotta fix this fucking shit. Why? Why did you do this to me, machine? Because it's...
We need that standby technical problems. Prompt.
Well, that's what editing is for.
Yep.
I don't have to worry about that if I edit. All right, either way. So the firefighters rush to a call, and they go into this room that is...
With the friggin' steam-powered pump and all that.
Yeah, that was weird.
That's how they did them.
I know. But
Horse-drawn with a steam-powered pump.
It was horse-drawn, that's correct. Which irony, you got to think they were maybe shooting hot water. And so they end up going to
that's not how they work. They took cold water and ran the steam through a pump, a turbine, which turned a pump.
That makes sense. And we're just spraying hot-ass water at them.
Just boiling water.
Yeah.
Just frying everybody in their way. Talk about a horror show.
Sorry, I'm looking up the dates. Nope, 1904. If it wasn't... Was it 1904? I thought
It was early.
Yeah, I think if it wasn't... Because 1908 was on the wall in the Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Well, 1903, 1904, that's about the same era before the internal combustion engine and everything got popularized with the Model T and the Model A.
Eventually, yeah. But the main reason I was looking that up is because that would tie it back to Afterlife... If it was, because those are the dates of horrible things happening in history, except for 1989. Wait, more of that. Not letting it go. Hashtag not letting it go. Oh, I didn't realize there was a future date in there, 2134. Ooh, we got some futuristic ghosting shit later, but that's a huge gap.
They brought that up in Afterlife when they were in the cave.
Yeah, well,
that was the last series of numbers. They
Well, the funny part is that's a massive gap. That's 113 years between incidences. But that means they didn't count for this. Sneaky.
Yeah.
They did not count.
They ran out of room on the wall.
They did. They didn't get 2023. Oh, sorry. Shit. We forgot about that. We're really good at all the rest of it. But either way, they run into a paranormal happening in some building, and they walk up, doors frozen shut. Dude gets his hand frozen while touching the door. They go in. There's a buttload of frozen people, except for one person who's in a weird-looking suit of armor.
With the friggin', brass veil?
Brass everything, basically, and holding a ball that's chanting weird sounds, and then bad things happen.
And little things are moving on the ball. And
Like, I almost feel like they didn't need that scene. Like, it would have been... It's one of those things that is great for context.
It ties in.
It does. But I feel like it's also not needed at the same time. Because then we'd have a complete mystery and have zero idea what the hell's going on.
Yeah, but...
Because at no point is there a record of that happening.
True.
Which would have been useful information in this movie. For them to go, wait a minute, back in 1900-something, this happened before. But no, nobody has seen this ball anywhere except for 2, 4, 7, 8, 9, 20,000 years ago, however many Patton Oswalt told us.
That was a good cameo, too.
Yeah, I mean, I like Patton Oswalt enough. He's gone off the deep end in a couple weird places. But
in his own life, yes, but for his cameos, some of the characters, he does really well in those roles.
I think the only problem I have with Patton Oswalt is he can only really just be Patton Oswalt.
Well, that's the thing. You're not going to ask Patton Oswalt to play some Spaniard, you know?
I might. It might be fun. I mean, he could play a French captain on the Enterprise, for all I know. So either way, basically, that leads into the story happening. such and things.
Things and things.
And then basically we end up where the Ghostbusters have to go be busting ghost, yo.
Yep.
Though I do love that they got to the flying drone trap.
That was
early.
That was a nice surprise. I enjoyed seeing that.
Question: did they ever recover the RC trap? Because I don't remember. I think they did.
That one either got recovered or got destroyed.
I think they recovered it. I think I remember them catching it.
Because it went too high. The sewer dragon was entirely too high and out of range.
Yeah, I do think, but for some reason the beam still held to it.
Yeah.
Which in the game, if I remember correctly, if a ghost got too far away, you would lose it. It would just lose connection because it's just too far. The energy can't stretch that far. But apparently this can stretch several hundred feet in the air and go around buildings, and it still
It didn't go around buildings.
It went through buildings.
It didn't go around shit.
Dude, they legit caused a lot of destruction. So the last time we
But
saw
instead of bending around, it just stayed straight.
basically. Well, no, I mean
Carved out corners.
technically it did go around, just not great. Because that thing was kept going.
Yeah.
So, but either way, we got this great chase through the streets of New York with the Ecto-1. Family argument about who's doing what. One person feels not that important. Another person feels way too important to themselves. Which, there's a lot of weird ego things going on in here. Not Egon, but ego. Not Vigo.
I wasn't even gonna.
You were gonna. I could see that. It's Vigo on your face. By the way, where is the painting? From Ghostbusters
Where'd it go?
2?
Yeah.
Where did it go?
Why is it not on your wall somewhere?
I mean, I wouldn't want that shit.
No, you want the one with at the end.
No, that's what I'm
Ghostbusters
referring
2.
to. That's what I'm referring to. Where did the renewed
with all the
picture go?
half-naked Ghostbusters on it?
Yeah, I don't want that. I mean, I could buy it if I want, but it exists out there in the ether. But like, where is that? Like, why didn't they hold on to that?
It's probably it.
Why would it? It should be a raise or
Or
whatever the new ghost science building is.
might be in that.
I mean, I would put it somewhere safe because it probably is still some sort of demon portal.
True.
In theory, like every single thing that just keeps getting turned into a demon fucking portal.
Yeah, and they don't explain how Winston made his millions.
They did in Afterlife.
Yeah,
Where
briefly, they touched on it.
basically, he just got into some businesses, created a corporation, sold it, and then became a giant CEO and a boss bastard of everything. Sorry,
Yeah.
that was kind of mean. I didn't mean that. Except for the fact he's kind of a dick in this movie.
But he's still Winston. At the end, he still stood the line.
Yeah, perhaps. Part of my notes.
Ah.
Yes. Either way, so I mean, basically, it's the same story of every Ghostbusters movie: ancient evil coming back from the quote unquote dead.
I know, this is one of the bigger ones.
Literally.
Literally world ender.
The only thing that I'm sad about is it was purely a CG creature.
What did they refer to? Extinction level event?
I guess.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or I'm pulling from another mythos from a book series.
Correct.
But it's still an extinction
it
level
would, he
event.
would have wiped out the world just like everybody else would have wiped out the world. But this guy was an ancient god that was sealed away after it was betrayed by its.
One of the best looking demon bad guys I've ever seen. I mean, it looked great.
I mean, it looked okay for what it was, but there was nothing. I think only in that one scene, maybe, was it an actual physical thing. Everything else was just purely CG, and it just. And the funny thing is, like, there's so many good things about this, like I put on my list here, that it seems like they would have spent more money on the big bad.
They spent a lot of money on the generic visuals.
Yeah.
And the visuals everywhere were great.
Yeah, I think so. But the weird part is this is definitely the brightest Ghostbusters movie we've ever gotten.
Yes.
Because the 80s movies always had some kind of grayish tone to them. Like, New York in the 80s, I was certain was either dark all the time or definitely gray and dingy all the time. This is, like, very bright.
It was bright. It was vibrant. When she met that female ghost, Melody.
Yeah.
That was beautiful CGI with the flames and everything. I liked it.
I mean, it was okay, but I think like she looked too actually there, in my opinion. Like looked too actually there.
That's how Spangler looked in the Aftermath.
He was a little bit more
Or Afterlife.
Yeah, Aftermath is a different thing. Egon's ghost looked a little bit more.
But he didn't die in fire either.
True. He died being torn to shreds, yet he didn't look like that when he died. He didn't get to carry on. I mean, he'd only been dead for like a few weeks at that point. So it is what it is. Also, he didn't die in his Ghostbusters uniform, as far as we know.
No, he wasn't
But
in his Ghostbusters
he was in
uniform.
it when he was dead. So
Well, he was working.
apparently, you can manifest that shit. Too bad he didn't take that sick, like, slicker and hat that he was wearing at the time. Because that would have been cool for, like, the ghost of Egon to come up looking like that and then toss the shit off, and then it was him.
Yep.
But I mean, like, his arrival was really fucking good, and I cried in that scene.
I heard some people were brought to tears.
Yeah,
I just had a big stupid grin on my face. I was happy.
Yeah. So, and there was a point in this movie where I thought Egon was going to, like, pop back in.
I thought he was going to pop in when she broke out the chess set.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm like, they're not going to bring his ass back. That would be so stupid.
Yeah.
And then they didn't, but they got us with that. So Melody was the ghost human in this one, which is weird because we rarely see a humanoid ghost that isn't weird looking
Or batshit crazy.
But and we don't know exactly when she died, but it wasn't recent.
Yeah.
Also, whether or not her name is actually Melody, who knows?
She was at the Melody Diner.
In theory. So, because I didn't know, because I know that it said Melody on the matches, but I didn't see if it said Diner or something else.
Well, when they were in the diner and she flew out the window,
Yeah.
Melody Diner right above
Yes, but I didn't know if that she's just associating two things named Melody just because we didn't get a giant backstory on that ghost. But
You didn't
the
get a
fact
lot of backstory on a lot. You got present day and drive on. That's one of the reasons they were able to cover so much and do so much in this
Yeah,
film.
I mean, we did get a
They had
buttload.
minimal backstory on like 90% of everything else.
Yeah, well, they had major exposition otherwise.
But you should have, if you would have seen the movies before that and followed along, you should be caught up and knowing what's going on. That's
Well, I
not
mean-
intended as a standalone film.
I guess that's true. But I would say that at least one of my bads was the fact that we got little information about some things and we got massive exposition dumps about other things. Like we got the like Patton Oswalt's job was literally just massive exposition dump of everything that we needed to know about the bad guy, and he conveniently had the pictures.
Yep, and now we're caught up. Yeah.
Yeah, literally like, hey, here's this, and I'm like, oh, what?
He pretty much takes the plot and throws
He
it
literally
at
just
himself.
said, "Here's the entire plot," and they're just like, "Okay." Now it would have been weird if he had stayed with them the rest of the movie, like because everybody else did. Everyone else they talked to throughout the movie stayed with them.
even the firebender.
Yeah. So one thing we do get, Firebender. That's really what he was. But we do, of course, get the new invention of what Winston is doing on the side, which is developing new Ghostbusters tech. He's got this whole new paranormal scientific division thing that he started in some old aquarium, which felt like a reference for some reason, but I don't think it was.
I think it was the construction of the building itself that lent itself to containing paranormal entities.
I think it was just an abandoned aquarium and it was cheap.
Come on, let me get my hopes up.
Well, the reason if they had said that, yes, but I felt like the actual aquarium thing was a reference to something else.
Well,
Like,
at the same time, it having different pens and different tanks.
Oh,
are
that's a fair point.
Automatic holding cells that they can reinforce.
I guess that's partially true. They basically had big fish tanks.
Yeah.
That they turned into ghost tanks. So they decided to go full Jurassic Park with this bitch. And just
Had
like
that
Jurassic
giant
Park,
dark dude hiding in the shadows and peeking out at you. That was a little creepy.
You know what I thought they would do there? As soon as they showed like that, and then they're like, "You guys are holding them here," like I kind of thought they would do like cartoon references. Because one thing I think all of us remember as a kid, if you watch the real Ghostbusters, was the boogeyman. Mm-hmm. It was fucking terrifying. The giant head, the big teeth, and the small arms, the crazy mohawk. If they did some form of him in a live action, I think that would actually like just really get
and then
me
that
going.
whole tank of the Meeps,
Meeps?
the mini Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Well, those weren't in a tank. Those were just everywhere.
The Meeps.
They were fucking everywhere, and I hate them.
They were everywhere,
I fucking hate them so
and they were
much.
stupid as hell.
I fucking hate them so much. They were supposed to be a manifestation of Gozer, but they somehow kept them going through this movie everywhere. It was like an infestation.
And they're essentially gremlins.
Yeah, they're just gremlins. They can't die unless they get.
They need a bell.
Well, I mean, at least if you had the. Oh yeah, they got rid of Egon's ghost taser.
Yes.
Yeah, where the hell did that go?
Did it get destroyed in
No, they had it.
Aftermath?
No,
Because he come out of that
podcast had it.
Podcast had it come out of Ecto 1 looking like the Stay Puft Marshmallow
And there's no
Man.
way Egon didn't draw designs to make more of it.
True.
So, I mean, like, everybody should have had a fucking ghost taser. The only PKE meter we saw in the whole thing was Ray's, and it got destroyed almost.
Yeah, overloaded.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, God, there's a lot in this fucking movie now. I'm thinking back on it. I mean, we just saw it less than an hour ago.
We're still digesting.
Yeah. So either way, lots of shit happens. Big ghosts happen. Big CGI fuckfests. I did.
Then it gets cold.
It gets very cold because it is supposed to be the middle of the hottest summer. Well, blah blah blah. The one thing I thought was weird is that the clearly trailer shot where the storm is coming in off the ocean made no sense.
With the spikes firing up through the sand and everything.
It made no sense considering he wasn't across the ocean.
Well, got to make an entrance, man.
I mean, like, and if they were on a different, if they weren't on the main island, I could see that, but it would be coming across the bridge, across the water. But it didn't. It was coming from the fucking ocean, coming onto the beach and stuff. That was clearly all just for the trailer.
Maybe old boy had some style.
I mean, maybe.
What was his name?
Garaka.
Garaka.
And the only reason I remember that is because I wrote it down about 7 times.
Maybe Garaka liked theater, liked to make a good entrance.
I mean, he is a god.
Used it to strike fear.
Yeah. I wonder if that I never bothered, because sometimes they pull stuff from actual lore. I got to wonder if they did. Like, if it actually is a thing. So, just a few notes that I made. One was a weapon of science. So after they terrorize downtown in the opening fight, they get pulled into the mayor's office. And who's the fucking mayor, Jeff?
Pecker.
God damn it.
That was Peck.
Yeah. What did he call him? Pencil Dick? What did he call him in the first?
He called him Pecker later.
He called it
Peck.
Yep. But Phoebe calls the proton pack a weapon of science.
Yes.
Which was fantastic. I laughed at that. I'm like, that's great. Weapon of
I was
science.
pissed off that they benched her that damn quick, that damn fast into the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. But like, she really got benched.
Hey, I know you did all the legwork and you made sure that catastrophe in Oklahoma was averted, but that doesn't mean anything. You're a kid, so sit down.
I mean, everybody did go, hey, you are 15. You probably shouldn't be doing this shit.
Yeah.
Realistically.
But it's family business. So
yeah, but once again, running around with a nuclear weapon, hanging out the side of a car, all that basically illegal. They did tell her not to go out on the side.
But then
bridge.
she laid down that line. Said, I have ghosts to bust.
Yes. And it sounded great. And then they got sued, and they had to pay somehow for all those damages.
Yeah.
And so that was only the
I don't know.
beginning.
It seems like she can't deploy that weapon without destroying everything. Collateral damage and Phoebe definitely go hand in hand.
Yes. Well, collateral damage and the Ghostbusters go hand in hand. It destroys everything.
Yeah.
The next note I had was, don't stick finger in the goopy hole.
God, you know what he stuck?
Yeah.
That had to have been Slimer's.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Slimer.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
No.
It's cloaca.
Crikey.
So
He's so angry.
Of course. So Slimer does return in this movie as basically his old character, almost from the cartoons, where he's living at the fucking
Looks
firehouse
a bit
for no
better.
reason.
Looks a bit more aggressive in this one.
Yeah. Well, he's always aggressive,
But not as dopey looking.
well, not as dopey looking because they made him look more real.
Yeah.
And like I would say, out of all of the ghosts in this movie, even the big bad, Slimer looked the best.
His teeth were bigger, wider, yellower.
Dude, the fucking yellow and red eyes.
Yeah.
That was like up close. I was like, holy shit, dude.
Well, I'd be irritated if someone stuck their finger at my Slimer too.
Although here's a question though. What are the rules of ghosts? Do they choose what to pass through? Because he was sitting under a pile of garbage, sleeping on a floor.
Maybe he likes garbage.
No, why does nothing pass through him?
I don't know.
Yeah, so look at it this way.
Maybe they got their own rules, man.
So Slimer can fly through walls. We know this. He can fly through people.
But he can eat junk food.
But it goes right through him. Literally.
But he can lay on floors. He can lay underneath
So,
a whole bunch of garbage.
Actually, then that is incorrect because all those candy bars and other things that he was eating would just be on the pile underneath him.
So he digests it.
But he can't.
Well, then where's it go?
Straight through him.
And
he
it
eats
gets turned into slime.
But he eats because he wants. Well, we saw in the first movie, anything that goes in goes straight through. Mm-hmm. There's no stomach. There's no nothing. It's just the feeling to eat is all he does. The only one we've ever seen that.
So is the epitome of a cardinal sin?
Yeah, he's basically.
Gluttony.
Well, you know what he's supposed to be.
Gluttony?
No, John Belushi.
Really?
He's the ghost of John Belushi. Yeah.
How's that?
You never knew that?
No.
Yeah, he's supposed, not in the literal sense, but they reference him as basically John Belushi, and his super gluttonous side and all that kind of stuff, the movies he played, the funny character, all that. Yeah, he's supposed to be the representation of John Belushi because he died.
That's funny.
He died shortly before this, and it's a reference because he was so close with these guys, especially Dan Aykroyd, who basically wrote for all the Ghostbusters.
Yep, that bears.
Yep. After that was, of course, Winston growing and expanding things, but somehow not telling the Ghostbusters themselves that he was basically starting up his entire own Ghostbuster
There's a need
Corps.
to know, yeah.
It's like advancing all their technology, including a massive fucking multi-layer fucking containment unit, because the whole problem with this is containment unit is full and is trying to fall apart, is what was happening in this. So it's basically the plot.
Yeah.
We have two containment unit problems. One's a tiny brass thing. The other thing is a giant red thing in a wall that nobody ever really explained how or what it does, but apparently it's just a big tank.
And it's full.
And it's very full. But what I call bullshit is they said after busting ghosts for 40 years, I was like, no, people stopped busting ghosts in the 90s. Nobody was busting ghosts in that amount of time.
But they'd still been containing said entities.
They busted a lot of ghosts in the 80s. In a very short amount of time, they busted a whole lot of ghosts. But they said busting ghosts for 40 years. It's like nobody was Now, we don't know how much they were busting.
What Winston was doing.
No, he wasn't. I think he did all that stuff after they came back. He had no interest in doing ghost busting stuff.
Really?
Yeah, do you remember that from Afterlife?
He seemed to have a lot done in such a short amount of time.
Well, when you have geniuses and all the
stuff. He had what, 2-3 years?
He's a billionaire. Yeah, he's a billionaire in 3 years to play around, and he's got all of the blueprints and all the shit. He can make it happen. Including the mega containment unit, which I said, but also like the soul extractor thing, which was fucking crazy.
Is that the one Phoebe jumped in and...
Yes.
Okay.
Why someone I mean, I get they did it to remove ghosts from possessed items, which of course comes into play throughout most of this
goes
movie.
back to quoting Jeff Goldblum playing Ian Malcolm.
Yeah, which is also another Jurassic Park reference.
People just built and that because they could and didn't ask themselves if they should.
Yeah. Yeah, you were more concerned on whether or not you could. You didn't stop to ask
there you
if
go.
You should. Yes, I was waiting for you to finish so I could get it up. Either way, but I also put down the Jurassic Park, but for ghosts, which is really exactly what fucking happens. The power goes out, the containment units go out, the ghosts get free, but only really affects the one at the time.
A friggin' monster, though.
Yeah, the one monster tried to get out, but the problem was the possessor.
I mean. It was a neat visual when they all launched their proton packs at him, and he stops the beams in midair.
Yeah, well, he didn't get out then. He gets out later. But that's Garaka.
But he stops that beam and freezes it all the way down.
Which
shuts down the entire pack.
Which is crazy. All right, so of course that we do get introduced to Garaka both through the story, and then of course he gets revealed after Phoebe decides to ghost herself. But somehow, here's the part that...
And gets betrayed.
Yes, gets betrayed by...
Melody.
Not Melody. I'm not giving her credit for that being her actual name. I'm just saying that's the name she chose after dying.
Well, what's her name, Yeah,
that's fair.
Turd by any other name would stink just as poorly.
Okay, Shakespeare. The other thing... so I made predictions while going through the movie. And first prediction I made was Phoebe will die. She did. Because as soon as we get that Melody is clearly working for the bad guy, which... I want to point something out. So Garaka is supposed to be incredibly powerful and can control ghosts and can command an army of ghosts. This thing is sealed in a brass ball. Doesn't look like the sealing's doing much of anything because he can just command ghosts to do whatever the fuck he wants while still being sealed. All the ghosts that do anything in this movie to get him unsealed, it's like, what the fuck? But then also, how would he know who Phoebe is to direct Melody to go after her for that reason?
Got me.
That particular plot made no sense.
Maybe he just told her to find a way, and she did.
I guess, and I guess she would have reported.
Of course, at
back.
the same time, for the previous 3 years, they've been running around doing Ghostbuster stuff all over New York.
Yeah, but
So
he was sealed
Phoebe's
away.
likeness and who she is would have been known.
Yeah, but at that point, he was sealed away in a brass ball in a brass room. It wasn't until a dipshit fucking...
well, he doesn't have to know that. Those he controlled and communicate with had to know the stuff he needed to know.
So here's the weird part. What woke up the ball? So using the PKE meter on it started waking it up, and nobody noticed the ice wave go across the city.
Yeah, that was...
Like, how did nobody notice that? Like, I'm just like, okay. A lot of things happen that nobody notices that are clearly actually happening. It's not just for our reference as a viewer, because it sends an ice wave across the city to the containment unit, which he clearly knows where it is, and he freezes it, causing it to start breaking further than it already was breaking. And then we get Melody, who he can command. So realistically, this guy never needed to get out of his ball. He really didn't. He was doing all this shit without even being released.
He didn't, but for his form to manifest, he had to get out of the ball.
I mean, that part is true. The other thing I predicted was Ghost Girl's match will help beat Garaka.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah, I wrote that down. Yep, 100%.
Look at you.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, okay, so she's the girl
All
who died.
foreshadowy and stuff.
So the girl, well, this is how fucking telegraphed this movie was. This is like, oh, look, the girl who died in fire and has a match to play with. Oh, look, they tell us about an ice god that can only be defeated by firebenders. Oh, hey, look, this guy over here seems to be pulling fire towards him for some reason. It's like, oh, she needs a match that she can't strike and that clearly
I
has
guess
something.
you've seen enough by this director to kind of figure out what's going to happen anyway.
No, I just know movies and storytelling.
See, we did, wife and I watched Bones. And Amy had to stop watching with me because
You were solving all the murders.
5 minutes in.
Yeah.
Okay, it was this person that did it for this reason. Shut up!
Yeah.
Would you be quiet?
So these, by the way, these are just notes and criticisms, not necessarily good or bad. So Garaka comes for the main containment unit despite being near a whole group of them to begin with.
Well, he wanted the back catalog set free.
Yeah, but he had all the ones that God knows how many they had.
Well, at the same time, when the red containment unit was ruptured, big friggin' beam into the sky.
Correct.
That fueled Garaka, and a lot of the other stuff going on. That was pure energy in it.
But he was there when that happened.
Yes,
But what I'm
but
getting
at the same time, that
he
was
had
more power to him.
But he already had freed himself and gotten, even before he got his horns, which, wow, he got that
shoved him into his head.
He got that shit really fast. You're just like, well, he goes kills one guy for no reason.
Well, it was the
Fire Master,
Master
which is a vape
vaping.
shop. I was like, I felt bad. I'm sure that guy was probably a cameo because it was like, why bother?
I didn't recognize him.
But it was like, why bother? You know. But the fact that he literally had a containment
Too
unit.
bad it wasn't Chong as the Fire Master.
That would have been
great.
Yeah. Or if it had been
Dante from Grandma's Boy.
no, I mean
Yeah.
No, I'm thinking the guy who played Zuko in Avatar would have been funny because he's a fire bending master. He's actually a firebender. Either way, but the whole point was like he needs ghosts to command, and he literally is in a building full of ghosts when he gets freed. But he doesn't. He only frees like the one or two that were right there.
Yeah, the red sparky jumpy
the
thing.
fucking possessor.
Yes.
And then like the little green head thing that you like that shoots snot everywhere.
That thing was cute.
Yes.
Horrifying, but cute.
Another thing that I thought was cool and a nice reference was, speaking of possessor, we got a haunted Ecto-1 that was taken over and tried to kill the Ghostbusters.
Yes.
Briefly.
Looked like Christine.
You said Christine,
Yep.
and I was actually writing a note when it happened, and I looked up, I saw the red headlights and shit, and I'm like, because in the cartoon, the Ecto-1 did get possessed one time, and like, but it developed like a face and all that stuff, like the grill turned into like a mouth, and the eyes were, or the headlights were eyes. But I thought it was a cool reference. But also, yeah, Christine. But also, this is for fans of this show in particular. And listen to a particular horror movie podcast that I was on not that long ago, last year. What was the first thing that we see coming at the firehouse after they hunker down and wait for Garaka? What did the kids see coming down the road at them?
A tricycle.
Yeah. A red tricycle with a ghost in it. So, to me, and I can't prove any of this, but Dante, if you're listening, you might not be. Robert seems to still be working in Hollywood all these decades later. That's a reference to the movie Rubber.
I liked Rubber. It was weird and different and made me laugh.
Yeah. So Robert, the tire, after losing his first initial form to being blown up by a shotgun, seemingly, inhabits a little red tricycle.
Yes.
So to me, that was Robert. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know it was the possessor, technically speaking, but there's.
See, I had The Shining in my head for some reason.
Yeah, I think a lot of people see that and think of Shining might go immediately to Rubber. Another thing, the wax cylinder plot line.
That was odd, but at least they that was kind of the link that led you to
The
everything clicking.
yes,
When the ghost says the human voice is the key.
yes.
That's what made everything kind of fall into place.
And that part, yes, when we got the answer to that, but the actual like trying to steal the thing was pointless.
Yeah, it was just a fun little chase scene.
Yeah, but it was just overall it was pointless. Other than
They got
to
to
get
animate a
Phoebe
giant friggin' lion.
Yeah, but story wise, pointless.
Well, there's a lot of stuff in Ghostbusters that's pointless. It's just fun.
Correct. Yes.
That's
But-
part of Ghostbusters.
Yes.
And it's serious, but at the same time fun.
Yes.
And pointless.
Yes, but I'm just saying, like, a lot of the other stuff around it, great. Like the Ecto C, which, by the way, now we have a Ghostbusters motorcycle that apparently has been around for a long time.
I liked it.
And it was cool,
I'm a fan of sidecar rigs anyway.
but I want to know who the hell technically created that.
It was probably Spangler
Maybe.
because it was overcomplicated.
It was definitely overcomplicated.
Too many buttons.
But also, like, Phoebe...
And it didn't work right the first time.
So Phoebe and... Wait, Podcast wasn't with them to begin with. It was
yeah,
just
he was
Phoebe.
on the bike. He was behind Ray.
Okay.
on the track.
So they rode there.
Yes.
Phoebe was in that sidecar.
Yes.
Did not notice that there was a fucking neutrino wand in it.
And she didn't play with buttons.
Yeah. Why would she not play with buttons? She's a Spangler. The other thing that was interesting, so when we did get our firebender friend, or fire master, but firebender. So whenever he finally starts to control his powers, which, by the way, I thought they were going to go somewhere else with this. So he was trying to control just a flame from a lighter and manipulate it because they needed the fire to seal the bad guy. He has to use two fingers, basically like, for anybody to see, basically like guns, finger guns, and direct it. And given the fact that was Kumail Nanjiani, sorry, who played Kingo in the horrible Marvel movie that shall not be named, who used his powers by doing this. He shot lasers from his finger guns.
Okay, I'm missing that Marvel movie.
Yeah, it was the Eternals.
I may check it out.
No. Save yourself 2.5 hours because it will never be referenced again.
Oh, man.
But basically, he's playing this character who needs to manipulate fire, and the first time he really does it, he does it with finger guns, just like Kingo uses his powers. So I was like, that cannot be a coincidence. Okay, I already mentioned Garaka basically having a lot of power despite being sealed away. Phoebe ghosts herself on a hypothesis using equipment she's only briefly been shown.
Makes sense.
She's like, I can make myself into a ghost to come hang out with you, ghost girl. Which, was that supposed to be like a little lesbian subtext?
You know, I kind of got a little bit of that, but they never really...
I mean, she's 15, so you really
they
shouldn't be pushing
poked at it.
Yeah,
But that's it.
Yeah. But also, like, why? I mean, like, she has people she knows and can hang out with. And, like, it's not like she's really the lonely kid. She just got kicked out of the ghostbusting club.
Podcast is annoying.
But, like, I thought that they basically would have just... The movie led you to believe that she would just be going to work with Winston's people because she can't be out in the field. Which totally would have made sense. You know?
That's what they should have done.
Yeah, that's what they should have done. But I did like the fact that she had that confrontation in the police station after she yelled at the mayor.
Are you going to behave?
Yeah, are you going to behave? No.
Nope.
Of course not. And then, and she basically like tells her mom off. She's like, "You should be answering phones at the firehouse," or I think she said, "You should be answering phones for us."
Yeah,
I think is what she said. It's like, damn.
The only reason you're here is you're a Spangler.
Yeah, if you weren't a Spangler, you'd be answering phones for us. Oh, speaking of which, there's the wifey calling me. Pause.
Who are all y'all meeting? Church people or
People
what?
from the church, yeah, because one dude is doing his Elvis.
Did James
Elvis
make
thing.
it back?
Yeah, there was an update on James, so he is out of the hospital.
I saw that. I saw that they were traveling back, and he was super weak.
Well, yeah, but he's already been home, was in the hospital again.
Oh no!
Yeah, and he had 3 more bleeds that they had to figure out. But he went home the other day. Oh, okay. So hold on, just pausing the review for a minute to give this update about James because I forgot. Oh my god,
squirrel!
Oh my god. Okay, so my brain works in certain ways. So Wednesday, I think it was Wednesday, maybe Tuesday. Either way, earlier this week, James had gone back in the hospital. We knew he wasn't doing great, but they were working on it, and there was rumors he'd be heading home sometime soon. I think Tuesday they said he was supposed to go home, but then, Wednesday he was supposed to go home. It was Thursday, whatever, doesn't matter. So he posts on Facebook that morning, going home in big exclamation point, all caps. So
home?
My dumbass said, in what context? Because a lot of religious people refer to...
Did you, how far down your throat did you shove your foot?
Not very. Because everyone understood what I meant and laughed. Because as I texted one of our other quote-unquote pastor, because he's not ordained yet, but he's on the path, I texted him, I was like, hey, when a devout man of God and pastor who's been sick for well over a week and a half suddenly posts going home, my brain starts to worry instantly. Because that's a euphemism for dying for a lot of Christians. I'm going home to see God. And so it's like, do we know if he actually went to the house? What happened? And then he posted nothing for the rest of the day. I'm like, did he fucking die?
He probably said, I'm going to screw
Shoky. Well, like a lot of people, I have to bleep that now, asshole. So, back to the Ghostbustery things. Because we only got so much time before I got to get out of here. Let's do good, bad, and ugly real quick. You got to do yours from memory. I'll do mine from notes.
Do yours from notes.
So we'll go.
Or I'll just see if I agree with you half the time.
That's fine. Well, I mean, I'm sure you got a lot of things you liked about it, too. So good stuff. The firehouse feels real. You got living quarters, kitchen, and garage. We actually get to see the fire pole being used to get between floors.
Got to see the attic.
And the attic, too. So, and I told you last time, they actually built the upper 3 floors, so it did function that way.
Yeah.
So when we saw them slide down the pole, that was real. The camera did go down the pole to the next floor. So they built that separate from the garage set. So that was actually really fun. And also the fire pole did come in handy later on when they needed brass. That was actually very cool.
That was something we didn't touch on. Her brass plating all her gear.
That was really neat. So we didn't get there, but that is in the good. Phoebe coming up with the solution again, at least to upgrade
Which that
their
is so fast to brass tear apart her equipment and melt everything down and put it all back together and get it to work for some reason.
And also not kill herself from heavy metal poisoning by melting brass just in the kitchen.
That's not so bad.
I'm sure it isn't.
Better than lead.
I'm sure it's not pure brass. But anyway, that was really cool. I said cool new gear. No matter all the new gear they showed was pretty cool.
Yes.
Even the
trap drone was my favorite.
The trap drone was great. The handheld.
Did we see that in action?
No, only the one time.
Or was
Janine had one at the end of the movie, which, by the way, they brought back everybody in this movie.
Everybody that was still...
Which is actually a bad on my
corporeal
list.
At the moment.
So, that either way, all the new gear, the upgraded proton packs, they gave us a list of what was upgraded, but it's just, mumbo jumbo.
They didn't get Rick Moranis, though, because he's done acting.
I'm sad. At least a cameo.
He would have been fun.
Even in the background. Or him having to get Phoebe out of jail would have been the best.
Yes.
That would have been the best. Because I actually thought that there should have, in Afterlife, that he would have been like Winston's like secretary or like second in command or something.
But instead it was Janine
is connected
snarky and old
somehow,
and cranky.
Yeah. The ghost extractor I thought was actually really fucking cool. Like just that technology, they just came up with this shit.
Yep.
So basically advancing all of Egon's tech is fucking cool. The Slimer effects and like everything around Slimer was awesome. And Adam actually has a whole video of how they did the sliming rig.
Yep.
For one shot in the movie.
That really poor kid, he got right through him twice.
I actually didn't get to see the second time because I had to go to the bathroom really bad.
Yeah, and I don't know what I missed when I did.
You missed just a couple of smaller scenes. I probably missed more important things.
Okay.
Either way, we'll figure that out. Also, the original library ghost is back.
And the original library set scene.
Yes.
That was neat. But just full circle.
Revisiting everything in New York, realistically. Even we got to see the Statue of Liberty, which apparently did get put back.
Yeah.
And though in canon it never moved. Either way, and then the acting was great throughout. You got any other goods to throw on that list?
Just visually. The whole visual experience was great. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yep. I'm trying to think. There's got to be obviously a lot more.
See, I'm not as immersed in the Ghostbusters lore as you are, so I have less to complain about.
Yeah, I complain about the lore, but
I'm back to where we were with the end of our Dune. Enjoy it for what it is and drive on.
No, I did enjoy it by no means. I'm going to rag on it here now when we get into the bad section. I'm sure we'll come more good as we go. My ugly list is pretty short, but my bad list is kind of long-ish. So, and I already kind of went into this, the obvious storytelling aspects. Now, mind you, this movie is for all ages, so there's probably some kids who've been like, you know. But for me, it was like, okay, this, okay, that, okay, this is clearly what's going on. And then tying that up also with the massive exposition dumps. Either the story was super predictable or they just handheld you the whole damn way. One way or the other. But it was funny that Phoebe, once again, Phoebe being left out or feeling lonely, which, by the way, we also never saw what they got, the call that they went to go do where they left her alone.
Right.
We never saw what they did. We just they went and did it. We went on a call. We never heard anything else about that. But also the fact that, the Ghostbusters are incredibly active now. So there are a lot of ghosts still
They're
in New York.
going.
Okay, so on top of that, was Winston going from being like a philanthropist to just being a dick? Like, there were several scenes where he was just a dick.
Usually at a certain point when you're running that many companies, making that much money, you just become a dick.
Yeah. But he went from like John Hammond, if we're doing that thing again, to being John Hammond's nephew in the sequel. But like he was an asshole to Phoebe after the library thing.
Yes.
Like, okay,
and just chewing her out.
And by the way, they're screaming at Phoebe, who blew up one of the lions in front of the
because it only attacked her.
It was only about to kill her and podcast. Like literally, it was about to kill her. Had nearly killed Ray. They were distracting it because it was possessed by the possessor ghost, who was trying to run away with this wax cylinder, which I guess held the recording that would have let what's his face out.
But it broke.
But it got broke. It's wax. It would have melted in one.
Right.
So, by the way, it would have been a better scene if it melted before. It was laying on hot concrete in the middle of the fucking day.
Yes.
It should have melted. Would have been a better scene. Jason, hire me to help you with the fucking movies. Jason Reitman, please, let me help you. Okay. So we already mentioned everybody came back. That's a bad for me.
Really? Why's that?
Because Podcast and Lucky had no reason to fucking leave their home in Oklahoma to come with them to New York.
True.
Like,
they don't touch on, speaking of Lucky, they don't touch on her hardly any.
No.
She's there.
Why is she there?
She helps out. She's working with Winston.
Yeah, she's just working with Winston for some reason.
That she was such a good character in Afterlife.
Yeah. Also, did she get thicker, or is that just me? Not a criticism.
They all grew up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, she just looks way thicker than she did.
That's 3 years in between.
I guess so.
And at the time, she was, what, 18?
I guess.
17?
I don't know what the actor, how old she was.
So,
I think she was supposed to, because he was lying to say he was 16 and he wasn't yet, and I think she was 16.
Or 17.
Something like that. Because she could drive, he couldn't.
That'd make her 2021.
Yeah. Which, I mean, once again, that's not really a critique. That's just
and at the same time,
old
boy kept calling himself, I'm 18, I'm 18, I'm 18.
Yeah, exactly. He kept bringing that up because his age was so important.
Well, if you're an adult, go figure it out.
True that. But like podcast, they at least said why he was there. It was summer break. And he lied about going to space camp. Because, Asian parents just let their kids run away and nobody.
And he grew up, filled out a lot as an actor.
Oh, yeah. He's done a lot more. But I just feel like they were kind of unnecessary. Like they just were there just because, hey, look, we got the other kids. We got to have these kids.
Might as well.
But I feel like it should have been a family story again. Like,
well, at the same time, family's not blood. Family's who you choose to be around. But family's whose back you got.
But also, other than like one or two little things, they were unnecessary. They were just there as extra bodies for the most part. Like, hey, we need somebody to come in and do this thing that we didn't even know you were in.
Well, they needed lookouts on the roof.
They had a lot of people in that fucking firehouse, didn't they? They had a lot, including 2 other kids.
And no one except Phoebe was effective in the end.
No. And Phoebe, once again, was the only one standing up against the ghost until Kingo slides down from the fucking...
Slowly. Okay. It was so awkward.
Yeah. And I hate that Kumail Nanjiani went from being a really good actor
but why
to
did he
being
slide?
a dork.
Why, if he was covered in brass armor, did he slide so slowly? He should have shot down there like a rocket.
Yeah, but also I want to point out that she slid down that initially earlier in shorts, which meant her legs were going down that, and legs do not slide on brass
And if
pole
you remember
like that.
from our childhood,
If you're
the
not lubed.
slides from elementary school,
Yeah.
you don't wear shorts on those things.
No. Well, that's
Ow.
exactly.
Ow.
Yeah, somebody never, unless that pole was lubed, she would not have slid down that easily.
Don't lube your pole.
Yes. Okay. But I said, other than comic relief, they brought nothing to the story and bloated out the cast a little bit. Not to be too mean, but that is a negative for me. And I said, no need to bring every character back and then leave out Rick Moranis.
He probably just said no.
They
flat
brought
out.
back Peck.
That was a reach, man.
Well, it makes sense that he would become mayor, but he
Yeah.
was a fucking EPA guy. Like,
But
he
he was,
already had
he
a
was a
government
brown nose
position.
and kiss ass
Yeah.
as well.
No, that was the other guy who was a kiss ass.
Well, so was Peck.
Okay. Because the mayor had like some other dick that was on his side too.
Yeah.
The big bald guy who's been in everything. Let's see here. Oh, the Are You the Fire Master as a throwback to Are You the Key Master?
Right.
No. Fucking fell flat for me. I laughed like the actual scene because that's when they killed, or I guess he killed that dude definitely.
Yeah, froze him and
the
then
fuck
shattered.
out. Yeah, so he froze that poor dude just trying to sell vapes. Though it would have been funny if he just turned into vapor instead of shattering. I think that would have been
Right.
Yeah, if you want to make it funny, go full funny. Turn this motherfucker into vapor.
Just smoke his ass.
Literally smoke his ass. And then also the fact that Garaka reformed so quickly, despite having like his horns, which are supposed to be like the source of his power. He's already doing all these amazing things before getting his horns back, and then honestly doesn't do that much more with the horns.
Other than look weirder.
He does look wicked, but also the fact he goes into this like holy room, and you would think that these fire masters maybe would have set up some form of trap in case.
They probably did. That's why it hadn't been disturbed until she died and her grandson started looting all her stuff.
Yeah, piece of shit. Fucking Kingo. Either way, I'm just thinking that he is Kingo, and this is in the Marvel universe.
Stupid fire blaster.
Yeah. Yes, fire blaster. But actually, yeah, it is really dumb. And every single movie good guy needs to learn this. Do not keep the source of the bad guy's power next to the bad guy's grave. It's a bad fucking plan.
Yeah, salt and burn.
Exactly. And then I already mentioned the exposition dump. So that's my bads. Did you have any? Oh, never mind. That's in the
Not really. I didn't have a lot to complain about. I just enjoyed the film.
Yeah, you're just a fucking film enjoyer, which I am too. But you know, when some things become glaring like that, I'm just like, okay.
Well, once again, I'm not as immersed in the lore as you are.
Well,
That makes a
that's not
difference.
even lore. This is just movie making, in my opinion. This is just movie making. Then my uglies are in the fucking the lore problem.
Hold on, here we go.
Now you're not going to have any uglies.
No,
I do. So first off, Peck. Fucking Peck.
well, no one likes Peck.
I know, but that's why. Just because. He's unforgivable, period. He's irredeemable as a character.
Yeah.
But
Just
he's
hateful, spiteful.
fucking... Like, hold on. He is completely responsible for what happens in Ghostbusters 1, yet somehow still manages to become the fucking mayor.
Exactly.
So, Peck. I'm pointing at the camera for everybody who doesn't see this
that's
shit.
bureaucrats for you, though.
Yeah, that's some bullshit is what it is. He should have been in fucking jail. In fact, I thought they arrested him,
No, they said get him out of here,
which means they probably arrested him.
or just strong-armed him out of the building.
This is once again retconning the fucking universe. Also, the mini puffs. We mentioned it already. Fuck the mini puffs and everything. They're a manifestation of Gozer, not just random ghost. And pretty sure they all died effectively when Gozer was sucked up and split into a billion.
You could only hope.
A billion points.
They're
of light.
annoying little bitey bastards.
By the way, I have a reason that the containment unit would be full, and they forgot. They had 200 fucking traps worth of ghost to deposit when they got back to New York.
Yes.
So, the excuse of 40 years of fucking Ghostbusters.
They had a whole field at dirt.
Yes. They had an excuse for why the fucking thing would be full, and they forgot. So, fuck you, Jason Reitman, for getting your own writing. Man, I told you earlier, he fucking can't keep canon or continuity between his fucking movies. That's why. He literally sucked up like 2,000 ghosts plus Gozer and his fucking hench dogs. Three incredibly powerful entities.
Yeah.
That would make sense why the containment unit is full as fuck after not being used for decades. Fuck you and your storytelling, Jason Reitman. Hire me. I will fix your fucking movie. Either way.
Either that or I'll just yell at you for hours.
I'll just keep yelling. It's like, no. Well, you know what's funny? So, Star Wars, you know, you get somebody who really enjoys Star Wars who then joins the Star Wars family as an actor or character. Dave Filoni, who is already a giant Star Wars nerd, was corrected by one of his actors while filming Clone Wars. And he said, this wouldn't happen. He's like, why? Because of this. Like, he remembered shit from the story that the guy who wrote it didn't even fucking remember. So, Jason, hire me to fucking help you. All right. Either way. And then also, My Last Ugly directly references Ghostbusters 2 because he didn't do it in the first movie, but it still doesn't fix canon. Like, because, once again, they show the fucking Statue of Liberty walking down the road, and then they have the slime.
But then at the end of 2, I noticed it was gone. When they panned back from the building after everything was done and they were walking out.
It was laying in the street.
Really? Because it wasn't over the...
No, it was laying flat in the street.
Okay.
Yeah, so she's there.
But weird, it ended bashing the torch through the friggin' roof. And then repelling from.
Yeah.
Why did it just
topple
roll over? Yeah.
Well, because all the kinetic energy from the slime was done at that point.
I guess.
So it was laying either on the building or in the street at the end of it. Either way, the point is, he should have just left it out. Yeah. Like, I know there was a point for New York to remember that, yes, but the whole goddamn world would not be able to forget that.
And it looked brighter and greener than I've ever seen it.
Very much. Well, they had to do that for color correcting back then because they did have to green screen a lot of that shit. Yeah. So, but the thing is like, having the slime, by the way, the slime, completely fucking pointless to this movie. There was no reason other than to, hey guys, Ghostbusters 2 was there, remember? That's all that was, to have that one scene.
That one scene. Hey, I got the what do they call it? The
psycho positively charged slime. Yeah. No fucking reason to have it.
No, just put it downstairs.
Yeah, literally no reason to have that there except to go, oh yeah, Ghostbusters 2. We forgot about Ghostbusters 2. That one guy made a video, so now we have to fix it. They didn't fucking fix it. They made it worse because it still didn't happen.
They didn't make it worse. They just angered Shoky.
Look, I don't give a fuck what they did. He still fucked it up.
Shoky mad.
Here's the deal. If they had that footage of the Statue of Liberty if they went digital release on Afterlife and included that one shot in the flashbacks hey, they're really big in the 80s, some shit happened, then I would forgive it. But because he literally does no references to it, builds a timeline that excludes it specifically by the story told, and then goes, oh yeah, by the way, we forgot this. So they retconned back in Ghostbusters 2 when it still doesn't make sense to have been retconned. It's like, God damn it, that's what pisses me off. It's unforgivable to fuck up your story that bad that you go bang yourself in the fucking head and go, how do we get Ghostbusters 2 back in here? The slime? We could do the slime. Which, by the way, they could have used this. They probably could have used the slime blowers to some degree. Those don't exist. I thought they would, but they didn't. They just have the slime.
Yep.
Which, by the way, they didn't bring the toaster back to New York, I noticed.
Nope.
They should have. It's at a farmhouse.
That was a nice toaster.
They should have moved all of Egon's shit back to New York. That would have been really cool. He had a lot of cool shit.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, this passionate rant brought to you by Shoky on the Now You Made It Awkward podcast.
This rant is brought to you by the letters F and U. I'm going to make a video. I probably will. I'll be like, hey, look, remember how I made this video to explain how this happened? It didn't fucking fix it. And you know what? The funny thing is I have a very, very small gripe. Very, very small gripe.
Oh, well, small. Yeah, you do small so well.
So this is just the design thing. That's all it is, just the design thing. I don't like the red stripes coming all the way to the front of Ecto-1.
That is such a small thing.
That's just a gripe. That is not a real complaint.
My God.
I just don't like it. It looks weird.
No one else would have noticed.
Car guys notice. And you're a car guy. You should fucking notice.
Yeah, but I'm not a collector guy.
So? The stripes on that car, no matter what it is, end where the fucking design ends from the fins, starting from the back, going to the front.
Yeah.
Then it ends just on
the middle of the front quarter panel.
Yeah, just not even that. I think it's just on the door. It ends 3/4 of the way towards the mirrors.
I do like how much they cleaned up Ecto-1.
They definitely
good.
refurbished that bitch, except it still had lots of problems at the beginning.
Of course.
It's overheating. It's overheating and all this other stuff, but they're still driving it like insane.
Yeah.
So I mean, it definitely got a dust up.
Well, those old big blocks are notorious for overheating when you push them
that's
hard
a
anyway.
that's a Cadillac 400 in that bitch. So yeah, it is what it is. Personally, I would have swapped it out for a small block Chevy at that point.
Yeah, I would have gone with the LS setup.
LS3 at least.
Yep, at least,
which is actually what.
Or if you're still going big block, LSX would have been a beast.
Yeah, but the funny part is that's really what the car itself has in it is an LS, so it can do the tail sliding and all that stuff because it still weighs fucking 5 tons.
Well, you can hear it on the exhaust note.
Yeah, and it still weighs 5 tons.
Even, if the exhaust note is real from the movie.
Yeah. They probably added that back in.
Because I guarantee you, for any movie car, it's so easy to drop in a LS and a 4L60E transmission and rock and roll it.
Yeah, especially considering that it's a giant beast of a Cadillac that you've got to drive around. So, I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I love that car. It is iconic. It is still just the Ecto-1. No letter following it whatsoever. So the Ecto-1A still disappeared in canon. No idea where the A went.
It broke down and was never seen or heard from again.
It just ceased to exist. It's like the Ecto-1A. Oh, but we now have the Ecto-C, which somehow has existed. Which I looked it up. I was looking it up while I was in the bathroom earlier. There is no. I thought they had a motorcycle toy for the.
I thought it was in the cartoon.
No, apparently not. I looked.
It just appeared out of nowhere.
Yeah. So they had the Ecto-2 in the 2016 reboot fucking thing that we don't talk about. So Kevin, which was Chris Hemsworth's character, had a dirt bike that he dudded up to look like the Ecto-1. They called it the Ecto-2. But I tried to find it in the toys or in the cartoon. I didn't find a reference to a ghost cycle or anything else like that I could find, at least in my 5 minutes of looking while I was in the bathroom. Because I could have sworn there was something, but apparently not. Because I could have remembered there was something with a sidecar, but once again, Mandela effect. We're probably not even our original universe anymore. You know,
probably.
We're in the universe where Ghostbusters 2 fucking happened, but it didn't.
We're in the universe where apparently Sinbad was never a genie.
Sinbad was never a genie.
Then how come I distinctly remember the movie?
You're not from this universe, clearly.
That explains a lot.
There was no movie. There never was a movie where Sinbad played a genie, ever. There was a College Humor short where they made the joke that he was Kazam and he had been trapped in the whatever. But that was a joke. That never happened.
No, then I'm from a different universe. I'm cool with that.
Whatever. You just remember the old universe is really what it turns into.
Or glitch in the Matrix, whatever.
Yeah, they got to stop firing up the Large Hadron Collider. They got to stop turning that shit on.
It
keeps breaking the universe every time they do. All right, so with that, we do need to do our final scores. So you gave Afterlife an 8.
Yep.
Like a crazy person.
Look.
I know, I'm just fucking with you.
Look at the source.
Yeah, I know. So
easily entertained.
So where is this one in comparison?
Right there with it. I think it's better than Afterlife. I enjoyed it.
It was better than Afterlife. Okay, I would have said it's a bit under. I don't think I gave Afterlife a solid score. I might have, but I don't remember what it was.
I'm also deprived of going to the movies and going to see a movie again. You know, a second movie in the same month was kind of a nice change of pace for me.
This is going to be a bit, and then next week is Godzilla.
Godzilla.
Yeah, Godzilla. So to be fair, I did give it a 7.6.
Okay, we're close.
But I can't remember what I gave Afterlife, so I need to go and look because I'm pretty sure I gave Afterlife somewhere near a 7, if I had to guess.
So I guess this week's homework is watching all the Godzillas.
That's up to you, because not only do you have to watch you have to watch all the MonsterVerse movies. So that's Godzilla 2014, Kong Skull Island, King of the Monsters, Godzilla versus Kong, or Kong versus Godzilla, and then Monarch Legacy of Monsters on Apple TV.
I won't get to that one, but
I have it, so if you need to get access, we can do that.
Okay.
Yeah, or just watch a fucking breakdown on the internets. There's breakdowns of it on fucking YouTube. But anyway, that will play into the future of the MonsterVerse and the past of the MonsterVerse at the same time.
Well,
which they also have to keep doing retconning things.
I was still confused with the movies. I just enjoyed them for the visual spectacle.
So what you don't have to watch is Shin Godzilla or Godzilla -1, because those are different universes.
All right.
Yeah. So if you try to keep all the Godzilla universes separate, you never will. Or inline, I should say. And the only ones that are canon are the MonsterVerse stuff from 2014 on.
Okay.
And then Shin Godzilla is not canon to Godzilla -1. and then the Godzilla animes are not canon to each other or to the movies. It's a mess. They just do whatever.
Yeah, it's a fun mess.
Yeah, Toho was just like, we like Godzilla.
Oh, big monkey.
Big monkey. Well, that's the other one. But either way, yeah, that's good enough, I think. So, guys, I know this is a short-ish episode, but running out of time, but this is mostly a Ghostbusters. Keep wanting to call it Afterlife. It's not. It's Afterlife.
Yep.
Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Frozen Life. Gotcha.
Yeah, Frozen Life.
It's
My
Ghostbusters
Frozen Life. I do think Frozen Empire.
Let it go.
Well, here's the funny part. Yes, Ghostbusters Let It Go. Actually would have been a pretty good title. At least for me. I'd have to let it go, all the things that bother me. But no, the funny part is Frozen Empire... I mean, yeah, they basically froze the city, which thawed out very quickly, by the way.
It still wasn't no major loss of life.
That we know of.
Not a ton of casualties.
Yeah, by the way, they came after the Ghostbusters at the end for all the damage caused to the city, which technically, yes, they did free the thing. But the giant ice coming out of the ground and killing people, in theory, all over the place and freezing people to death, which I love the bitch getting coffee on the street, just like shivering a little bit, even though literally everything around her is under like 8 inches of ice.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you wouldn't be shivering. You'd be fucking falling over nearly dead if it was freezing that cold.
Yeah, 0 Kelvin.
Yeah. Which, by the way, they put out there the death chill. You know, you're so scared you die from your own fear. That didn't happen to fucking anyone.
Nope.
They just literally were frozen by cold. It is what it is. And you know what's funny? They edited from the trailer. So in the trailer, it made it look like Lucky actually died.
Really?
Yeah, so remember when she got frozen when she first was there trying to fight
Yeah.
Garrick? I know it's not his name, but that's what I'm calling him now.
Gerald, yeah.
Baraka minus the B. So in the trailer, it shows her like freezing all the way to her eyes. Like her eyes freezing
Yeah, they cut
solid.
that out.
Completely stopped it, and then she was fine. I was like, they didn't have the balls to kill her.
Yeah, she hit it with a proton thrower.
Yeah.
And
Neutrino.
the streams froze.
Yeah.
And then she just got a little frosty.
Yeah, she got a little frosty, and then he left to go do other things.
Yeah. That was so weird.
And then Phoebe being cold up until way late. Like, she was like still sort of frozen going about, even like when she goes into the basement to confront the hot girl. Which, by the way, I thought she was going to like destroy the thing at the last second, and
But
then
instead, she just went here.
she just stood there and watched it, and she's like, "Here's a match. Here's some fire."
Then she falls
Oh.
apart, all pretty.
The thing I forgot to mention. So with fucking, I don't even remember his character's name. Sumir, I think. You know, Kingo. Whenever he diverted the blast out the window,
Yeah.
when the proton pack got possessed,
Yeah.
I thought that was going to play into defeating
Where he'd like
Baraka.
take them all and combine them and condense them down. or
Yeah, but
something.
like,
yeah.
if they're considering that
But
that's
he didn't.
fire,
He just went into face and through
yeah,
fire and
just through fire. I was like, wait a minute, you just introduced that he can bend the neutrona blast, which would have made sense for him to do as the way to end it. And then they're like, nope, tiny match. Remember we introduced the match? The match. Remember the fucking match?
the foreshadowing.
And by the way, they broke their own rules of 3, unless I missed it. Whenever the Ecto-1 ran over the fucking e-bikes at the beginning, and then immediately after they showed the e-bike passing in front of the firehouse, they broke the rule of 3s. No, you show something twice, you got to show it 3 times. They didn't show the fucking bikes again, or if they, or it might have been while I was in the toilet.
Maybe.
Might have been while I was in the toilet.
See, I didn't
To be
even notice
fair.
that.
Yeah, I do. I notice these things. It's how movie making works. Rule of 3s. When you do something, especially for comedic effect, you got to do it 3 times to get the punchline.
Unless you only do it twice just to bug you.
I swear to God. I swear Jason Reitman is making movies to annoy me at this point. He's like, remember that guy? Fuck that guy. I'm going to throw in small references. And I'm sure there were tiny references. I'll probably see the 186 things you missed, on Screen Crush tomorrow morning. Because, they get these movies early and they can fucking make these breakdown videos.
They'll watch them 2-3 times and
yeah, they
take notes throughout the
go
whole
literally
thing.
watch it fucking quarter speed. Oh, one thing I did like, but apparently they didn't have a lot of, were the fucking like Arctic. They didn't do the fucking thing from the trailer where they were on the roof and go ha 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 when Paul Rudd, when they're all in the fucking Arctic gear.
Yeah.
That was not in the movie.
Nope.
One of the funniest scenes
They were
from
all
the
just
trailer.
in regular Ghostbusters
So
suit,
that means they
jumpers.
changed a lot of the fucking movie since the first trailer.
That means they shot the trailer first and then figured out the movie after.
But that annoys me because that actually built his character a bit, where he's like excited.
Once again, terrorizing you in the Shokyverse.
God damn it. Damn it, Jason. Why? Because I was waiting for it. I was like, wait a minute. He doesn't even go on the roof. I was just thinking over it. I'm like, wait, and everybody was in a jacket. In this, they only had a couple people in a jacket. And it was just Phoebe. It was Phoebe and Lucky because they nearly froze to death. And like one other person, I think.
Like Janine.
I think it was Janine who didn't freeze to death at that moment. And it's like, but then what's his ass was on the roof with her while all the snow and ice was coming in.
Yeah, podcast was it?
Not podcast. Trevor.
Trevor, yes.
Yeah, because I forgot. Believe me, in the first review I did, I could not remember his name to save my life. I had to keep
podcast or Trevor?
Trevor. I remember podcast, but podcast actual name, I'm sure nobody remembers anymore.
I don't remember what this original name was.
But I like that he and Ray were trying to do YouTube videos. He's like, remember to say hit like and subscribe.
Yes.
So Ray becoming a partial charlatan was interesting. Also, I wanted to see more of the
then
people.
the hammer. The hammer was great.
The fucking hammer. No, that annoyed me.
The hammer gets views.
Now, if they said that this hammer is magical and could dispel spirits, then I would have been like, cool. Then it'd be useful. Because he fucking has it later, and like he's going to use it against the ghosts. I'm like, wait, is the hammer actually useful and we just didn't cover that?
It's to get views.
But I mean, true, it's to get views. But like, it feels like they had other tiny plot lines and they just let them go. Like they should have done with most of the other plot lines.
Right.
Or like Lucky entirely. Because if Lucky got frozen...
I don't know. Everybody who has a battle rattle set up,
yeah.
gear up and actually do stuff in.
Yeah.
They have at least one or two things that have absolutely no point being there. They're just there because they like them.
True.
I mean, in my battle rattle, on my back, I have a tomahawk.
Yeah.
Tactical by SOG, S-O-G.
Yeah.
And they're tactical tomahawk with a good spike on one end and a good vertical blade on the other.
Okay.
No use at all.
I mean, it is still a tomahawk.
I can throw it, but when you got a long gun and short gun and a shotgun, what's that going to do?
I mean, that's for literally when you run out of everything else. But a hammer that smashes physical objects when you're fighting a ghost.
But it's probably his do-nothing
If it,
part of his...
once again, if it was a magical hammer, that would have been cool. Or some type of spiritual hammer. Another possessed item, perhaps.
But I'll give him something fun in his loadout that he likes.
Sure. Whatever. It's fucking podcast. He's fucking useless anyways. It's like, no, podcast should be... Ray and podcast should have been figuring shit out. And like... all the other, I'm done fixing this movie for right now. I'll do that on my own time. I have to go. I will make my own fixing Ghostbusters 2. Ghostbusters Afterlife 2.
Ghostbusters Enter the Shokyverse.
Yes. And look, I said it in my last thing. Their future is the multiverse. They need to do the multiverse of Ghostbusters.
That will be fun.
Because they will run out of ideas real goddamn fast. Because this was an entirely original idea. This is not a character that came from any other source. Comics, cartoon, nothing. This is an original idea they did for this, which is fine. I like some originality. But remember your own continuity next time, fucktard. Because if there's no reference in the next one about all of New York nearly freezing to death in the middle of the summer, I'm going to be pissed.
Yep.
Also, international. Now we literally have a company producing Ghostbusters equipment and showing other people how to use it. So... go Ghostbusters International.
Asian ghosts.
European.
Yeah.
Europe is full of ghosts.
Europe, the Philippines, Thailand, a lot of Central Asia.
Canada. Let's go
Mongolia.
Yeah.
Ghost of Genghis Khan.
Let's not go to Canada. Camelot. No, let's not go to Camelot. It is
a silly place. Unless you have the holy hand grenade of Antioch.
Which seems like a thing that they should probably have in their arsenal.
It seems like I need a replica just for my collection.
Could you imagine the Ghostbusters going to the Vatican?
Holy crap. In the catacombs underneath?
Well, you went somewhere. You said, holy crap. I was like, Jesus. And no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Lord. Either way. All right, we'll wrap it up there because this has been a decent one. So, guys, we'll catch you on the next episode. Make sure you do the like and subscribe thingy, of course, and go check out all the Shoky other stuff, which apparently sucks really bad. So, I mean, like, if you don't really want to check out Shoky reviews, you don't have to. Or if you're that guy, fuck off. I don't care. But either way, if you do want to see the uncut video version of this podcast where you can see the rage in my eyes the whole time,
Shoky angry.
Yeah, do so on the Shoky Patreon as well. And because they also get early release. It drops on Mondays in full video form. Because we'll do some video form as I bonk my... Yeah. Either way. Jason Reitman, for the love of God. Please just hit me up. I'll fix your fucking movies.
Or please just terrify and keep
just
making them mad. It makes for good content.
Please let me fix it. Please. Or let's do an Afterlife uncut version or director's cut version where you fucking fix that one small mistake that would fix the continuity. Thank you. All right, either way. But with that, guys.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats.